minutes. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous materials on S. 2629.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentlewoman is recognized.
I rise in support of 2629, the Better Cybercrime Metrics Act. This legislation improves our understanding and tracking of cybercrime, that we can do more to prevent it. A 2018 Gallup poll found that 1 in 4 Americans has been a victim of cybercrime, and I might say that it has exponentially grown during the pandemic. From stolen financial information to system-wide shutdowns to ransomware attacks, these crimes harm our families, our businesses, and our government. The Council of Economic Advisors estimated that malicious cyber activities cost our economy as much as $109 billion in 2016, and experts believe these costs are growing. The COVID-19 pandemic has increased, as I said earlier, opportunities for cybercrime, with increases in remote work and the time people are spending online. Hackers also took advantage of our recovery efforts, stealing identities to file fake unemployment claims or fraudulent loan applications, and again, in the midst of other innocent Americans not being able to secure those dollars and not being able to secure unemployment claims because of the fake process that clouded this system. Many of the victims of these scams only learned that they were attacked when they went to file genuine claims and were told that one had already been submitted using their name or business. Sadly, cyber criminals often target older Americans. In 2020, people over 60 accounted for the most complaints of any age group as collected by the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. People over 60 also had the greatest losses, with over $966 billion lost to cybercrime in 2020. We must do more to protect Americans from cybercrime, and that starts with a better understanding of what it is and how it occurs. The Better Cybercrime Metrics Act will gather experts in law enforcement, business, and technology to create a taxonomy of cybercrime so that we can define it and classify it in a uniform way. This legislation also adds cybercrime to 2 important law enforcement tools used to track crimes: the National Incident-Based Reporting System and the National Crime Victimization System survey. Together, these provisions will ensure that law enforcement has a complete picture of when and where cybercrime occurs and who is harmed by it. Finally, this bill directs the Government Accountability Office to conduct a study on reporting mechanisms for cybercrime and the disparities in cybercrime data relative to other types of crime data. Together, this legislation will put in place the tools to clearly define and classify cybercrime, to track cybercrime, and to better understand this serious threat. Mr. Speaker, it is a very serious threat. And in addition to the monetary damages, people have been personally, psychologically impacted by losses, by lack of unemployment ability, by being rejected for some of these claims, having to be delayed when the individual who needs it is desperate and experiencing desperate economic conditions, and to find that they have been, in essence, gamed by a cyber criminal. We must stop this. And as I said earlier, one of the most vulnerable populations are individuals over 60. And really, when you find those 70s, 80s, 90s who've lived their lives, supported this nation, and become victims of cybercrime, it is something that compels you to really want to stop this threat. I commend Senators Brian Schatz and Tom Tillis for their work on this bipartisan legislation. I also thank Representative Abigail Spanberger for her leadership on the House companion to this bill. I was proud to stand with her in introducing the House companion, along with our Republican colleagues, Representative Blake Moore, Representative Andrew Garbarino. We must give law enforcement the tools to keep up space with new technology and to get a step ahead of the threats faced by our ever-evolving world. This bill takes an important step in that effort, and I urge my colleagues to support it. As I conclude my remarks, I ask unanimous consent to insert into the record an excerpt of the House Judiciary Committee's memo from our December 8th markup of the House companion of the Better Cybercrime Metrics Act.
Without objection.
Thank you, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentlewoman reserved.